broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
This is David Avocado Wolf of davidwolf.com, and you are listening to Justin and Kate on Extreme Health Radio.
Wake up your immune system to attack harmful invaders that don't belong in your body. Visit CARNIVORA.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY today.
Increase brain health and improve focus, memory, clarity, and mood with BioAge Superfood. Get 10% off your order using coupon code JUSTIN at extremehealthradio.com/BioAge. Well, Kate, things never go as planned, do they?
Well, I wouldn't say never, but there's always some surprise factors thrown your way.
Sometimes they don't go as planned, right?
Nope.
Yeah, that was... so today we had Victoria Botenko scheduled to be on the show, but we're unable to connect up with her, so we're going to have to reschedule her. We're going to talk about green smoothies and all kinds of really cool things.
But we will.
Yeah, we will.
I guess it was... getting in the flow and just letting it go, and maybe there's a reason that she's supposed to be a little later on.
What do you do when you have plans for something, whether it's with a friend or a radio show, or you have something that you have planned on the calendar, and it falls through at the very last second? Are you the type, do you typically get really upset, or?
I'm usually okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at change and last minute things. I don't mind, especially now I'm just in this space where I think it's kind of cool because I've watched the things in the last year of my life that normally maybe would have bummed me out a little in the past, and they always turn out so cool. You know? It's like these unexpected things were supposed to be, and I would have missed out on them. So I actually enjoy just letting it flow and not taking anything, not being attached to anything and particular outcomes. How do you deal with it?
Well, I tell you, I've made a lot of growth in this area for sure over the last probably couple years or year or so.
I see it in you.
Yeah, but you've been rubbing off on me, though, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah, because when something happens where you're really expecting something, or like today we're going to have Victoria Botenko on the show, but for some reason can't get a hold of her. And but yeah, when things happen, whether you have something planned like an event, I don't know, I'm still not perfect, I'm not there yet, but I've been getting so much better at not becoming so disappointed in the letdown.
You have been.
Totally.
I see it in you. I've known you for a long, 12, 14 years now?
Yeah.
14 years, I think I've known you.
Isn't that crazy?
And you have not been the most flexible person, I should say.
No, not so
with
much.
your schedule, but you've changed a lot. I have to give you credit for that.
Yeah, it's...
What do you think it is? Just your growth as a person and...
Well, you were instrumental in helping me. At first, you were very combative, I have to say.
Was I?
Yeah, you would get mad at me for getting upset that the plans changed.
Oh, yeah, I guess I would.
You would get all upset at me about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
But I will say, though, that it's been a lot easier for me because I think that, like, what you showed me and sort of taught me, I guess, is if it doesn't happen, it was never meant to be. And you sort of helped me look at things like, let's say if you and I were going to go meet some people for dinner, or I was going to go meet a friend for dinner, and I was just really looking forward to it, and it didn't happen. You know, it's easy to start thinking, oh, man, that would have been so much fun, and I need to get out. I need to go have some fun. And it's really easy to get attached to things like that, right? But, you started teaching me a little bit about, okay, well, maybe if you were on the road at that time, and something happened, like a car accident, maybe you would have avoided a car accident you never knew would have happened, or something like that. You know? And so you've helped me a lot, kind of look at the bigger picture of things like that, and also just being okay with living in the flow. You've been doing that a lot more.
Thanks. I feel like I have. You think I have more?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I used to be so attached to Gosh, I mean, I'm with you. I guess the only thing that I was more attached to in the past that I was a little bit more anal about were my clients, because I had my day so scheduled out of the salon all those years that if a person, like, at the last minute either canceled or changed their thing or bailed on me, it's like I didn't charge a cancellation fee. I was way too nice to people all those 15 years, you know?
And not only that, you would lose money from other people that were supposed to be in your chair.
Yeah, it was just a mess, and I would not be so flexible with that. So I'd be inside just resenting these people, and like, you know, and now it's like if people mess up on my one day a week, or they forget, or they just want to bail, I'm like, whatever, and then I'll go get a juice. It works out. I have an hour break I didn't have, and I'll walk and go grab a green juice. Or it's really cool living in the flow. I just really enjoy it. I adore it.
Yeah, it's like when you have a situation like that, you look at the opportunity. Okay, well, the opportunity for us today is to talk about some things that have been going on with us, and maybe this will resonate with someone, whereas if we had the show at the original time, we wouldn't have had that same opportunity. And so, like, you look at something like getting a juice, or you think, oh, you got an hour off now.
I can go walk down the main drag. I can.
Yeah, you can. You know, what's your opportunity? What can I do? You know, how can I make this situation fun?
Right.
And that's something else too. I think it comes with time. I think it comes with getting older, or I don't know what it is, but just being more flexible. But then that doesn't make any sense either, because as you get older, you get less flexible, right?
Well, I agree in general terms, and most people are that way, but I think there's those people that you see that are kind of the diamond in the rough that, you know, every once in a while you come across an older person that's just like, they're so cool, they're so carefree, and they're like, whatever, life is meant to be lived, you know, and you really, I resonate with those people, because there's not many of them, but I think as you become older, you have to be more diligent and intentional about which way you want to go. And I think we've talked about that before. Like, if you open your mind at, you know, age 65, that until your life is on this earth is kind of coming to an end, right? You can make up your mind a little bit more, I think, in which way you want to do the next 30, 40 years, the 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
I love seeing older people that are so happy and so jolly and flexible, because, you know, it's so easy to become rigid and stuck and upset, and, you know, always looking at the past, you know, when you're older. And it's so cool to see some, you know, people who are older, like Jay Cordish is a great example, the Juice Man. Yeah. You know, he's always working on these new projects. And who was it recently we were talking with? Someone?
Louise Hay, too.
Oh, yeah, Louise Hay. And there's someone else that we're talking to. Who was that? Someone recently where... just Mark Sisson, our interview on Monday. Oh, yeah. You know, I mean, he's not that much older.
He's not old, but...
No, but he's, you know, comparing him to other people who we know in our life that are pretty close to the same age, what a difference. Oh, yeah. I was telling you the example about my mom. My mom's not that old. I think she's 65. Yeah. But she was saying, like, you know, we don't have that much time. She always referenced things like in really weird ways, like, oh, with the amount of time we have left, or, you know, Lord willing, we're all, you know, on family vacation again next year. It's always like this kind of fatalist mentality, or she's like, it's weird, isn't it? She's kind of like settled in and accepting to winding down. And then you have somebody like Mark Sisson, who's 61, 4 years younger than my mom, who is starting brand new projects, and he's waking up excited about life, and he has, as people in the chat room were saying, 16-pack abs. I mean, the guy has like, you know. He's got abs like on his arm. He totally has. His whole body's one big ab. But it shows the difference of mindset. I mean, that's just a mindset thing, you know. I'm not saying my mom has to have a six-pack or anything, but she could wake up with a little bit more zest for life and not look at how much life you might have left, but just take it one day at a time and be like, what can I do today to make this the best day ever? You know? Yeah, totally. So, I mean, like looking at your day and saying, what life affirming action have I done today? You know? Ooh, I like that. Do you ask yourself that ever? Yeah, I try to do at least something life affirming every single day, whether it's go to the gym. I don't really consider the gym. I guess that's good if I don't add the gym as part of that. But, you know, I consider a life affirming activity or action, something like meditation or rebounding or sitting in the sauna or maybe an enema. A long walk, something like that where it's kind of unconventional. You know, a lot of people can go to the gym and lift weights and stuff, and that is a life affirming thing. But not a lot of people are rebounding or sitting in saunas. I mean, that, you know, those are actions that you take that are quite different from what the average person's doing.
Yeah, I mean, the average person isn't taking like a kidney drainage supplement every morning. You know, it's like the things that we are doing, I think, are a little bit, you know, and our friends and listeners are doing a little more extreme things.
I have to say, yesterday you had quite the if we want to call it life affirming day. You did. What did you do yesterday? You were just doing. Was
I charging it yesterday?
You
Man,
did.
They all blur together.
Yesterday you did a coffee enema.
I did, yeah.
And then you did a sauna.
Yes.
And a rebounder.
And then made a green juice to replenish and rehydrate everything. What was that?
Something just fell off our wall here.
That's good.
Yeah, and then you did. What else did you do? You read. You sat in the sun at the beach for a little bit.
Yeah, I went on a bunch of walks, and I went on a barefoot walk, I think, yesterday.
You had your reading time? You had quite
my reading time. It was a self-care day for me yesterday.
It was, wasn't it?
That was life-affirming. Yeah, and you know what was life-affirming is, I think a couple days ago we had a break, and we were sitting at the beach, kind of a late afternoon. It was so pretty, and it was getting, like, the sun was sinking a little, so it was that really nice time of night where it's a little bit getting to be the golden hour, you know. But the water's still warm here on the coast of California, so I was kind of walking toward it, and my favorite thing used to be to stomp all of those seaweed, you know, bubbles. The seaweed that washes up, and they're all like, you know, they're attached to their little, I don't know, how do you describe that? The little seaweed bubbles, I guess.
Yeah.
They're filled with water, and they have a little tail, and
yeah.
I used to my favorite thing is just to stomp those things. It's kind of like popping the bubble wrap when you get a package. It's just like it's something to do, and it's just like you're never satisfied. You want more.
You want to pop them all.
Yeah, and so there's these scattered seaweed bubbles all over the beach, and I've been doing these morning walks barefoot, and I'm like, this is so cool to feel the crunch of these things just like stomp beneath my feet, you know?
Yeah.
And I was jumping in the other day when you were laying out, or maybe you were taking a nap, and as I neared the shore, I found myself like in this weird kind of life-affirming space to other things, not just for myself, but it was for the earth, because I feel like as I'm becoming more
hippie, crazy.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Hippie, crazy.
Earthy? I'm not a hippie. I'm earthy.
I'm earthy. My friend said that one time. It cracked us up. I'm not hippie. I'm earthy.
I'm earthy.
But I thought I had that. Was it Hippocrates, the Hippocratic Oath that says "First off, do no harm."
Oh, yeah.
First, do no harm, or do no harm.
Right.
And that kind of stuck out to me. I thought, I'm not harming. I mean, the seaweed's dead. It's not attached to the living, you know, sea at all by any means. It's washed up and it's going to dry anyway, and it's not really alive. But something about it, just squishing it and breaking it, I thought, why have I done that all these years? You know, like, why do I need to go and stomp all these seaweed things and just like destroy something? It felt like very destructive for the first time, instead of like a fun thing to me. And that was the first thing that popped into my mind was, first off, do no harm, you know, do no harm. And I thought, well, I'm not adding to life by stomping these things. It's just, why not let them take their path that they're supposed to be and end up at the, you know, take the course and end up where their destiny is. And that's probably to just go back into the ocean in a whole form, or to dry up and become some bird food. I mean,
yeah. Do you think, do you remember when Louise Hay mentioned about how she likes to say thank you to her bed and thank you to all the inanimate objects? Do you think there's something, what do you think about that? Is she crazy, do you think?
I don't think she's crazy.
No?
I don't. It
seems really weird, doesn't it?
It seems really weird, but man, like, if you can get beyond the couple days of weirdness, you start thinking things that you would never, like, think. Like on my beach walks, I'm thanking the ocean. I'm thinking, you know, I said this morning I went out early and I said, hello, birds. Like, I was so excited to see the seagulls. Because in the past, okay, like, this is an example.
But that's a nice connected way to live.
Oh, it is amazing.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I was walking toward, I had my bare feet in the water, and I'm just kind of walking on the wet sand, and occasionally the waves would come up and kind of, you know, go up toward your feet and ankles and then go back out again. And there was this giant line of seagulls, you know, and they do that every morning that I've been going. And in the past, the old me would have run and like, take that, and then watch them all scatter, you know, because it's fun. But I thought, I'm just going to walk. So I said, hello, birds. And I kept walking, and it's like, good morning, you know, and there's all these rays of sun coming through because the sun was just coming up. And it was like this mist was rising off the ocean. It was just beautiful. And I was in this place where I was like, I'm just going to greet the birds, you know. And as I did that, they just kind of like spaced out. And like some went to the right and some went to the left, and they got out of my way, and I just kept going. they made a way for me to pass through.
It's
and
like
then
a little Red Sea.
it was cool. And then as I passed and looked back, they formed their line again. And it's like I didn't disrupt anything. Like they looked out for me and then went back to what they were doing. And I didn't scatter them or make them feel a fight or flight response. And then this might sound kind of corny, but it was really cool that as I looked down, there was bird marks in the sand, like from them walking in a line. And my feet were walking right next to them in a line. So I thought, oh, human and bird. Like,
that's cool.
I looked down. I thought we're coexisting. Like, I'm walking next. I'm not destroying. And we're kind of friends. It was kind of weird.
Wow.
So that's kind of like that's life affirming in a different way. That's not just for us.
Interesting idea with all that, because I don't know, I've told you about this book before, and some of you listeners may have read this, The Vision by Tom Brown. Basically, it's a story of Tom Brown is an internationally worldwide known tracker, and he tracker like he's like really good in the forest, and he understands the energies of the forest and all that stuff. And he learned everything he knew from this guy that he called grandfather, who was an ancient or came from ancient Indian background, American Indian, and so this was in New Jersey. And this grandfather guy somehow befriended, or Tom Brown befriended him as a child. And this grandfather became his sort of mentor all growing up. And grandfather taught him how to live in the woods, how to hunt for food, how to survive in the woods. But it's much more than just this whole idea of surviving in the woods. It's living in connection with nature and understanding the spirit of the wilderness, type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And in today's world, it's man versus wild. It's us, man against nature. It's these TV shows where you're surviving in the forest, and how can you survive? It's the same thing that people do when they work out. It's like this weird, fitness thing where they're just protein, carbs, and fat. It's a weird mechanistic way of looking at the world. You're fighting against things. But grandfather was talking about, teaching him the spirit of the wilderness and living as ancient Indians did. And what he was talking about is a lot of the same stuff you're saying right now. Where,
really?
Yeah, you walk in communion with nature, and you can talk to the trees, and you can talk to the animals. That's what the ancient Indians, American Indians, used to do. They used to commune with nature, talk to the wind, talk to the forest, talk to the trees, talk to the animals, and they would be able to hunt and find food and locate water and all this kind of stuff.
Just by asking.
Yeah, just by
perceiving,
communicating, like you sort of were. But they would just live almost as if the wilderness was alive, which sounds so weird to us today. But I'm starting to think that it's kind of not. Everything's alive, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, it seems like it. Even though the seaweed wasn't quote alive, it was part of everything. Yeah. It felt alive. It felt like it had. That might be a really silly example, but it felt real. It felt like
there's energy in it.
Yeah, there is energy. Everything has a frequency and energy.
Yeah.
Like, why ruin something when you have the option not to?
Yeah, because we think about the function of that little piece of seaweed is to float, right?
Yeah.
And to be in the water and to float.
That's their purpose.
Yeah, that's their purpose. And if you go along and smash it and break it up because it feels good, is that like some benefit that you're not letting yourself do because you worship the earth, or is that just leaving something as God intended it? Yeah. It's I'm
kind of thinking both.
Yeah, well, it's like, if God's intention for that piece of seaweed was to float and to be on the sea, and then you break it up after, God created it with the intention of being that, and then after you come along, you ruin that intention.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, like, you don't kill spiders, which is so cool. I try not to anymore. I don't really kill them anymore, but man, that was my first reaction, to kill stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Of course.
Well,
you see your mom freak out and,
lizards.
My mom was killing everything, and
she was?
I always had a hard time with that. I never liked that.
Really?
Yeah, now I'll be like naked in the shower and stepping in and see a spider and have to like turn off the water, grab a towel, grab a cup, grab the spider, put it outside. Like I can't do it.
Yeah.
It really bothers me. Same with ants. I don't like having ants in my house, but I have a really hard time even killing those guys.
I remember David Wolf said one time, someone asked him about being vegan and stuff like that, and he said, I'm not going to go out and kill ants, but if some ants, if I'm making a smoothie and I leave some honey on the counter that I'm putting in my smoothie and somehow some ants get into it when I'm not looking, I'm not going to not put that honey into my smoothie. And so it's like he'll put it in there, but he won't actively go out and kill ants or something. But I wonder if there's something going on with, like, every time you choose to take the action of not killing a spider, do you think that something happens to you? It's sort of like when someone who's an alcoholic, they have the opportunity to have a drink, and their friends give them a can of beer at a party, a backyard party or something, and they say, "Oh no, I don't drink anymore," and then their friends give them a hard time, blah blah blah. But then the night kind of goes on where they keep not drinking, and it almost is like they derive some sort of power from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they get kicks off of it somehow.
And I wonder if that same sort of thing happens when you choose not to kill an ant. Like you derive some sort of positive power from letting something live. I
feel like that. I feel so happy when I let something go, like outside in nature.
If you kill something, would you feel upset?
Yeah, I do for a little while.
Yeah.
It really bugs me. I don't like that.
Yeah, I thought about that too. It was something, the smallest thing is like, it's just walking around. It doesn't know it's going to get smashed and killed, I
know. And it's just going about, it's like, that's what it's supposed to do in life, And
imagine if that were God and he did that to us, or she did that to us, or whatever.
Oh.
All of a sudden you just
yeah, I know, just bam,
you're dead.
Maybe that's like the people that get struck by lightning.
Yeah, I know, it could be, right?
That sounds horrible, but
it's funny.
It's that intense though, It's like all of a sudden you're gone.
Yeah, bam.
Yeah, that's sad.
But I wonder too about stuff like that with like the worldview that you grow up with in church is interesting, because you're taught that man has dominion over the earth, and you're taught that you're supposed to have power over the earth, and you can do whatever you want. And it's funny because you look at a lot of the way Christians, some of them, not all of them, but some of them just sort of treat the world like, oh, it's all going to burn anyway. Who cares about taking care of my body? Let's have coffee and donuts at the back of the service after church on Sunday morning. Who cares about recycling? It's all going to burn anyway.
And if I get cancer, then that was God's will for me.
Yeah.
And
it's just like, I don't know, there's something so much more connected in spirituality or something, and living as if everything is living and alive, and you're part of everything. And
even if that's not true, what a better way to live anyway, I think.
Yeah.
You're not doing any harm. It's like the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah.
Isn't it better to live doing no harm than to wonder if you're doing harm? If at all. Like, there are times when, Maggie has fleas sometimes, and I'll have to, like, pick them off of her or kill them or smash them. Like,
right.
There's a few things like that I'm like, I don't want them invading her, in the hot summer months. So, I don't really feel that bad about stuff like that. Or like you said,
right.
David Wolf and the ants, like, there's going to be situations that are...
You might accidentally step on a snail, or when you breathe in, you kill microbes.
I know.
So you can't be completely like someone who does no harm, but, consciously you can choose where you put your harm on things or where you don't. And at least just having that awareness, I think I don't know what it is. I never really resonated with that whole man has dominion over the earth and you can just sort of rape and pillage the earth. I'm not a big worship the earth kind of guy either. Everything has its role, and I do everything I can to make sure we live in a clean lifestyle and recycle and do our best to have a not very large carbon imprint on the earth. But at the same time, I'm also not just feeling like man has dominion and who cares. That whole kind of attitude is so weird, so strange to me. And it was so pervasive and it permeated through the religious upbringing that I had. It was just there a lot. It's weird.
I felt that too. I felt like I was brought up in a way that if you were going into the grocery store and there were those, what do you call those people? The people that were Save the Whales people?
Oh, just what are they called? Save the Whale people?
No. They haven't.
Oh, Blue Cross.
I know. I was going to say, why am I blanking? Oh my gosh.
What is the name of that?
Not the Peace Corps. Who are they? Why am
I want to say Blue Cross, but it's a word like that, right? Peace Corps?
No,
not the Peace Corps.
Who are these people? Anyway, you all know who I'm talking about.
People that want to save the whales, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody says Greenpeace. Greenpeace?
Greenpeace?
Salvation Army, Ashley says. Gosh, what are they called? It's not any of those.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone knows, and they always want you to sign a petition and stuff.
Outside of grocery stores.
Outside of grocery stores. Yeah. And whenever we'd walk in, I remember my mom would always be so, like, disturbed, you know? She'd be like, oh, these people want to save the whales. What about the babies, you know? Like,
yeah.
And there was always in my upbringing, a really importance placed on humans and the sanctity of life,
right,
versus why are these people trying to save the trees or save the whales?
Yeah.
And I, now that I'm older and I'm making up my own mind and thinking back, I think, why can't we have both? Both are important.
Right.
But it was always in my upbringing, with my Christian background, it was like nothing else matters but the babies, the unborn, aborted fetuses. And, it's like you were thought as a crazy, stupid, care about the earth too much hippie if you cared about the whales or something like that. And that's really messed up.
It's really messed up because, so the Christian kind of idea that we got brought up with was that everything's going to burn anyway and everything's going to be destroyed at the end times and God's going to do all this. But so why put your focus on things that are temporal anyway and focus on the soul? But then at the same time too, those same people are saying, no, instead of saving the whales, we should save babies.
Right.
Whereas why would you save a baby over a whale if the baby and the whale both have a body that is going to burn anyway? You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Both physical manifestations of those two entities are going to burn anyway. So what's in terms of, the body becomes decomposed on both organisms. So what's, why the backlash against people that want to make the planet a better place to live, and like you said, why can't we have both?
Yeah. Why does it have to be so separate,
Yeah. It's really strange.
It's hard. It's hard though when you I took that stance because that's all I knew growing up. It's like what you're taught by your parents. I thought, and I used to have the attitude, I think I said a couple times leaving the grocery store to those Greenpeace people or whoever they were that said, would you like to save the whales? And I would say stuff back like, well, why don't we work on saving the babies first? And I was like,
how old are you?
I'm like
10?
Cringing. Oh, no, like 20. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just recently that I, in the last 5 years or so that I go, why doesn't it all matter,
Yeah, right?
If I was doing that at 10, I would have been a little activist for
I know
pro-life.
You'd be giving a TED Talk.
Right?
But it's weird, I just find it so strange that people make this distinction from, just really looking down on people that want to make the world a better place and the planet a better place. Especially, it could be other groups too, but we're just, we know the Christian kind of mindset. And how they looked so down on doing that. And like you said, I think we could just do both and focus on both. I think both are noble efforts, and you don't have to choose one or the other, And I find it to be much more spiritually connecting and grounding for myself and my relationship with God to live in a way that I see myself in all things and I see the energetic of all things and the vibration of all things and how we're connected to everybody. I just feel like there's so much more of a spiritual connection, I think, for me to God, and knowing that everything's delicate and we're just it's I don't know, it's something that we cannot just walk all over and not take lightly. Life, it's not something that we can just say, I have dominion over this spider, so I'm just going to smash it. When you start living a more aware kind of conscious life, you look at life in a different way.
I think so.
And you can't beat animals. You can't just kill things because you can.
I know.
That's not a very... And I think in the same way that when you say to the spider and you say you get out of the shower and you put on your clothes and you stop the water and you get a cup and you do all this work, in the same way, I feel like something happens to you, and it doesn't have to be a spider, or it could be any insect, or it could be anything that you do that may not even be health related, but I feel like when you make those decisions, some sort of positive, life-affirming vibrational energy somehow gets downloaded into your body. In the same way that if you kill it, you feel bad and you beat yourself up and then you try to justify it. And you know what I mean? It's like a stress or something.
Yeah. I feel like the best and worst thing that ever happened is probably like the Disney movies and other big companies making movies about insects and bugs and cute little things, and then they have like personalities, they have voices, they have feelings. It's good because I mean, when you watch A Bug's Life, after that you're like, oh, the ladybug, like you think of them different, right? Especially little kids growing up seeing this stuff, thinking that things have feelings, and these people have little families and they do little jobs and they're out doing all these fun things. You know, it's like, even if that's not true and they're just existing and they have other purpose and they're not having conversations and, you know, going out and doing adventures with their little friends, but
squirrels.
It paints a picture though of like, I think that affected me at a young age, going, well, what if, like, you know, what if I was an ant? Like, you saw this giant thing just come and like try to smash you and take you out because you're just trying to find food for your family. I mean,
yeah, that's not cool.
I don't know. So I kind of thank the movie industry for kind of what do you say, like giving life to other. Yeah, life and personality
to things that you think have none.
Yeah, it just, you know, whether it's true or not, I mean, it still just kind of makes you a little bit more aware.
I mean, think about like if you were, like, we watched this documentary the other day about, what was it about, the vibration? It was it was
Black hole.
Yeah, it was about
on Gaiam,
the quantum universe and stuff like that. And he goes all the way down, and he goes to particles and
quarks,
to molecules and quarks and vibrational energy fields, and then he goes out into the universe and shows the same thing, and it just shows you how small things are. So if you were like an atom or a quark and you looked at an ant would be like the size of the sun,
right?
Or probably even bigger than that. And so something that big to your reality as like a quark would have to have some kind of personality, would have to have some sort of, you know, reason for living, and, you know, some sort of life-affirming energy, you know?
Well, I agree, and I think that the thing with like a spider or an ant, they have a free will. I mean, you try to catch those things, and they'll dart around. They don't want to be like scooped up into a cup. Like,
yeah,
they're not just like they're sitting there like a piece of seaweed. Even, you know, it's like these things are moving around trying to survive, and it's like, well, they have a will, and anything that has a will makes me think
it wants to live.
Like, yeah, why is it our will that supersedes their will?
I know, it's yeah, I don't know. I think there's something really, really awesome about living in harmony with things and not fighting against stuff and not fighting, you know what I mean? Like just living in a way that's more in the flow with stuff. Like,
well, that ties back to our thing today with our guest. It's kind of like, instead of fighting to make something happen, you know, we come up with plan B and make this work, and it's just easier on everybody. It's like, we're not stressed out, we're not stressing them out, we'll just reconnect and it'll be at the right time.
Yeah, it'll be at the right time and everything will work out. And yeah, it's just when you kill stuff and just, I don't know, and you just fight, and that whole warrior mentality. I mean, there are parts about it that I like, but I don't know, just fighting and just not, I don't know. There's something about it that I don't resonate with at all, you know?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I have some interesting a question I want to pose to the listeners and to you about thoughts about dying.
Oh.
Speaking of
dying. It's a heavy conversation.
Speaking of dying and death. But you know what? I have to, before we talk about dying and death, I have to go pee.
Okay.
I have to go to the little boy's room. Do you have to go to the bathroom?
I could, yes. I drank a big smoothie.
I know. I had a big smoothie as well. All right, so I don't even think we just started rambling, didn't we?
Yeah, we didn't even intro the show.
We didn't introduce the show. This is episode 306.
Yes.
August 27th.
You got it. Look at you.
2014. Look at that.
Yep, look at that. Look at that.
Okay. Big stretch. All right, this is episode 306, and we're going to be taking a little break, and we'll be right back.
Real people, real stories.
And he discovered carnivora. was so thrilled with the product that he shared it with his family and his friends and his patients. My dad was a family physician. He was a medical doctor.
Almost all the symptoms were either diminished or gone. Amazing product, amazing results.
And found Carnivora. Something really wonderful was happening. I had to show my family. I mean, I've never seen anything like this.
It's like an amazing thing having such a profound change in how I feel and knowing that it was the Carnivora that did it.
Hello, folks. Richard Ostro, owner for Carnivora Research International here. Wake up your immune system and that of your loved ones to protect yourselves against harmful invaders. Used successfully by President Reagan in 1985 when he had it sent to the White House. Visit carnivora.com or call 1-866-VENUS-FLY. That's CARNIVORA.com or dial 1-866-VENUS-FLY and start protecting yourself today.
I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself, so go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong.
Listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
So Ashley says we sound clear.
Yeah, no one, except if you were in the chat room, no one would know that this whole episode has... Apparently in the chat room we sound like fast-talking chipmunks.
But that's the rumor.
And
goodness
we
gracious.
sound like microphones are in our mouths.
Really? Wow.
Garbled craziness.
We need someone. I tell you, we got to have some sort of audio engineer.
I'm telling you, we got to have him sleep in this room.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy.
Just to live in the studio.
Live in the studio and just be here. I'm wondering if we sound okay now, and if I think she says it's still slightly distorted. Kirsty, thank you for letting us know. I'm not really sure why we're sounding a little bit distorted. Is it when your voices are better but still a bit distorted? Trying to figure out. Let's see here. Let's see. Let me turn this volume down and this volume down a little bit, and maybe you can let us know. Golly, The commercial sounded clear, though. Okay.
Interesting.
I don't know. I wish there's too many buttons on the soundboard. I wish I knew.
Oh, gosh.
I'll keep playing with it, and we'll see what we can do. I'll keep moving knobs and turning knobs and all that kind of thing. You guys are eating the mics.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. We're too close. Okay, let's...
Okay. I'm going to back off a little here. Well, hopefully that's a bit better.
Okay. Do you need a green smoothie? Yes.
We could use about 4.
Actually, we just had a green smoothie. Yeah.
I did not have greens.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. Do we sound any better? Anybody?
Yeah, we turned the volume down just a little bit. Hopefully that sounds better. I'm wondering if we're still coming off as sounding like we're...
Eating the microphone?
Part of the Chipmunks.
I don't know.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, no, I'm not having greens these days. Whoa.
See, look at the two. That
guy played the banjo right in my left eardrum. He's like in my brain. Yeah, for me, the greens are a no-no for a while. They're high sulfur. High in thiols.
Are all greens high in thiols or just some?
Well, let's see. Kale, spinach, leaf. It said most leafy greens, but I think the approved ones are more like the romaine and all that. I can get away with a little romaine right now, but ever since I've given up, I think it's 2 weeks tomorrow that I will have started this sulfur-free diet.
Gosh, you're feeling really good.
I feel like $1,000,000. I totally feel good. I feel so much better. So I'm just living in a state of gratitude.
It is so fascinating to me that it was something like sulfur. I mean, how often do you hear of someone going on a low sulfur diet? It's such a strange thing, but it's really been affecting your health really in an amazing way. I haven't seen you feel this good in a long time.
Thank you. I haven't felt like this in probably 3 years. Like I have not felt consistently this good. It's the first time in 2 weeks like my organs haven't hurt.
What did it feel like when your organs hurt? Did they hurt in the same way? Like did your liver hurt in the same way that your kidneys did or stomach or something?
Oh man. I mean, they all had specific hurts unique to themselves, but I mean, I knew what organ they were. I totally knew it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's hard to describe unless you've had. It's like I've just been living with this chronic organ pain for like at least 3 years, and it got progressively worse to where I just couldn't stand it anymore. You know?
Yeah, I know. So. You were just. It was so bad for so long for you, and it's really amazing to see the change that you've had in the last couple of weeks. And
thanks. I don't think 3 years ago, had I cut out sulfur foods, I don't think that would have helped much. But now because I'm, so far down this path, I've done a lot of things leading up to it to kind of put it together. I think that it's only just helping me and I'm healing in other ways as well. Because, I was feeling pretty good the last few months over the last few years anyway. So the sulfur thing just took it to the next level. But I was so super excited. The stuff I found online about the sulfur foods and the high thiol foods. And then below it said, click this link for a bunch of recipes, sulfur-free recipes. And I was like, yes, because I'm getting so bored with my diet. Yeah. I thought this will totally help. So I click on it and it was like, yeah, they were all sulfur-free, but it's kind of like the gluten-free thing. They're either high in sugar or they were made out of other grains or, millet and amaranth and things that I still can't do. So I basically, I'm down to no dairy, no eggs, no gluten.
Let's think about this. No dairy, no
of any kind. Not even, the only thing I have is the One World Way, the raw protein powder, and that totally works for me.
Okay, so no dairy.
No dairy, no eggs.
No eggs.
No gluten.
No gluten.
No soy. No nuts.
No nuts.
No sulfur.
No sulfur.
No grains.
No grains.
At all.
So that makes making food
a little interesting.
Slightly challenging and basically tasteless.
I've done really good, though.
No garlic, no onion.
The garlic and onion kills me. That kills me. If I could still have garlic and onion, you can make anything taste good. But it's
that's an amazingly restrictive diet, and
it's pretty weird.
Also includes no sulfur. It includes no greens.
No, pretty much no greens.
But
right.
We do greens.
I do parsley in my smoothies or in my juices, and romaine in my juices. And if I'm making a turkey burger, to wrap it in lettuce. But those are the only greens I've had for 2 weeks, and I feel so much better. Ashley too asked us if we use green powder or do we make them fresh.
Yeah, we kind of cycle off green powders. We love the green powder from Vitality Herbs and Clay from Michael King.
That stuff is so good.
He's got a really great one that we sort of cycle on and off. We try not to do stuff all the time, every single day. I've been on a new supplement program, which has been pretty cool.
We've both had some big changes with our diets, huh?
Yeah, but the green powder from Vitality Herbs and Clay we really like. There's a lot of great green powders out there, but we try to do, at least for me, I try to put green fresh in my smoothie, and then if I don't do that one day, maybe I'll do the green powder some other day. But I kind of rotate on and off, and yeah, I've been doing really well. I'm on a program where I take supplements on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, I like that. You're not just like, I mean, you were doing it 7 days a week for like
a long time.
Year straight.
And I like it. I like doing it better that way because it gives your body, a lot of times people say do it 6 days on, 1 day off, and that might be because of the biblical thing. But, giving your body a day rest, but I feel like your body needs more of a rest. I feel like if we were living in the wild or living in ancient times, you might be able to kill something and have some meat for a couple of days, and then you might go a week without eating, so you'd be on vegetables.
Right.
And so same with supplements, and so it makes them last longer, which is really cool. I like that. So we're doing the BioAge and the Yes supplements and the iodine and astaxanthin. We're doing all that stuff. But for me, I do them on Monday, Tuesday, and then, let's see, Monday.
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, Thursday, Friday. So I take Wednesday and the weekend off.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, it gives your body a break, and then on the weekend you get a 2-day break. I don't know. Right now it seems to be working. I like it.
Yeah, you do, right?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Hey, do you feel any different do you feel different taking, because we've been out of digestive bitters from Vitality Herbs and Clay for a little while, and we ordered some yesterday, so it's going to be here probably by the weekend.
Uh-huh.
But do you feel a big difference in your digestion when you don't take them? Like, you've been off them for about 4 days now, so how are you feeling?
I do. I don't know if it's mental, but man, I love those digestive bitters.
Yeah,
There's
you
something
do.
about them. We just ordered a whole new thing. I mean, we take these supplements. I believe in them, but I'm not looking at the science. I'm not in the laboratory with any of these companies. So it's really, you have to kind of look at these things like our sponsors with the S&C and the Live On Labs. I mean, I don't have my own microscope, and I'm not looking at these things. I'm looking at the research they've done, and I'm looking at other research online that's published elsewhere. I'm listening to the people. I'm trying the products, and I'm thinking, okay, I like them.
And you're trusting that they are what they are, that they say they are. But
I mean, could I digest food and completely normally, probably on my own? Probably.
Yeah.
Not according to Dr. Bob Marshall. He says there's no way.
Does he really?
Yeah, he says that we've so damaged our ability to digest food in our culture. By the age of 70, you're producing no hydrochloric acid, very little digestive enzymes. So someone who's 70 years old, and it just gets worse and worse, according to him, as you age. And the older you get, the less you're able to digest your food. And so as a result of that, all kinds of diseases are happening. So when you're 70 years old, you're not digesting any of your food, basically.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's true or not. He's a smart guy, smarter than I am, obviously. But I can tell you that I feel a lot better when I take the digestive bitters. And I take a couple of enzymes, and some hydrochloric acid when I eat a meal. I don't know if that's placebo effect. We're going to actually talk to Dr. Joe Dispenza about the placebo effect pretty soon.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the placebo effect or if it's just people. I don't know what it is. I just feel. Do you feel?
Well, I gave up on them for a little while myself because I was feeling like I was doing too much supplementing. Mm-hmm. And my digestion, has been my arch nemesis in the last few years. But so for a while there, I thought I couldn't live without them. Well, I just got to this place where it was like I couldn't really handle anything. So including supplements, I just pieced out of everything for a while, except things that were really helping my thyroid and my adrenals and things I have going on. So I actually felt like they weren't doing me a bad thing by any means, but I just feel like my digestion was so jacked up anyway. I just needed to take a break from everything. And that sounds really weird, but that's when I felt like the difference happened for me, is when I just cold turkey quit everything for a month or two, Yeah,
making it a little bit easier on your kidneys and your liver.
Yeah.
To handle that kind of stuff. Because
it's just still processing things,
Yeah, if you're taking a lot of supplements on a certain day and you're not drinking enough water that day to help flush that out, then Yeah, I don't know. I really love the supplements we take. I really love them a lot, and I also think that you don't need any of them to be healthy. You know?
Yeah, I love how you make that distinction. I think that's really important.
Yeah, because health ultimately comes from how you think and how you feel. You know?
Right. And what you tell yourself health comes from. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Yesterday. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yesterday, I went to yoga in the park. So cool in our town and some of the surrounding towns. It's been a really big thing lately for people to start offering free yoga in the parks on a donation based. And I'm sure that happens all around. I'm sure people in Austin and, I could see that happening in cool cities and stuff.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a show yesterday, so I actually went out and took a class. And I joined a friend, and we were over this beautiful park at the Montage. If anyone knows where the Montage is in Laguna Beach, it's a super, super awesome resort where a lot of the celebrities come down from LA and go to the world-renowned spa. And I mean, it's phenomenal. And
did you see Russell Brand?
I totally did. I gave him a massage.
Did he ask for your autograph?
He asked for my autograph. We did some down dog together.
Little down dog. Nothing wrong with that.
But no, it's just this beautiful park overlooking this like cove, and the water's just rolling in. It was phenomenal.
What time was that?
It was from 10 to 11 in the morning.
11. Okay.
Yeah, and it was the best way to start the day.
Yeah.
But my friend knew another woman that was there, and I was introduced to her, and she was so cool. And she's just the nicest person. We were talking about, apparently we both go to the same well in Carlsbad to get water.
Oh, yeah.
And she's been doing that for a while, and I thought that was so cool. So we were talking about what kind of containers we carry our water in and how we can haul them, by ourselves, being women.
That is so Southern California.
It was so Southern
hippie.
I know.
Isn't that funny?
I know, it was so great. But as we left yoga and she parted ways, my friend looks at me and she goes, yeah, her story is pretty crazy. She was diagnosed last year with pretty advanced breast cancer. And she attributes so much of her progress and healing to that well water.
Really? Who was this that was diagnosed?
A woman that I was doing yoga with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Her mom was diagnosed with breast cancer?
No, the woman herself that I met in the park. And she was probably in her 50s. And so my friend was saying after we left, she said, yeah, she's pretty miraculously come back around with her health. She just had full-on breast cancer last year and attributes so much of her healing to this water. And so I was doing dishes last night and I was thinking about that story, and I thought, isn't that interesting that you call it well, like it's a well water? There's some wellness factor to being well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just thought, wow, like she put so much faith in that water. So whether it's a digested bitter or you're believing you're getting the best healing water on the earth, like there's something again about that effect. And I can't help but think of Joe Dispenza and Lissa Rankin's Mind Over Medicine book, just about the placebo and the nocebo. So no matter what these enzymes aren't doing, or water is or isn't doing, there's just something that, I really do believe that if you believe in it, it's going to be a good thing for you.
Oh, God.
If you're not, obviously if you're not like downing whiskey by the
well, it's funny because like
gallon.
Do you think that it's possible? Like this is how the weird the belief thing is kind of strange to me, because it seems to me like, is it possible like to walk on hot coals? Mm-hmm. You know how they do the fire walking?
Yeah.
People do it, right?
Right.
But then people also have done it and burn their feet really bad.
Right.
Putting it mildly, perhaps singe their feet all the way down to the bottom of their kneecap. But,
they've melted into the coals.
They lost 6 inches off their height.
Oh, gosh.
But, no amount of believing is that possible? I mean, like, I feel like I don't know if I have the ability to do that.
Wow.
But yet I say, and I want to believe that our belief in things actually makes things different and changes physical reality. I feel like I believe that, but if someone were to roll out 100 feet of charcoal,
hot burning coals,
yeah, would I do that? I don't think I would do it. Would anyone in the chat room? Would you walk over charcoal? I mean, is it?
We've talked about this before.
Do we really believe that our beliefs change reality?
Well, I think we were talking about this one time about in the Bible the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego going into the burning bullet, fire and coming out totally fine. Is that what was happening? If that story is really what happened, is that what was happening? They really believed so hard that God would protect them that that's what kept them from burning at the stake. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So maybe their belief that God was going to let them go through the fire was unscathed, was like equivalent to people mustering up the internal chi or whatever it is people do these days to walk on coals.
Totally. I think there's something about, like, I think we don't use much of our brain, first of all. And second of all, if we could tap into those and actually get into a space where belief became part of our new reality, of like we believe something as much as what we see to be real, then things would be a completely different story. I think we're capable of so much more than we even know.
Do you think that it's possible that we could get to that level where we could believe that we could do that?
I mean, I think so. I don't think, I mean, their feet are no more special than our feet. Like, at some point they had baby little soft feet like we did, and they might have grown up in a situation where they were, walking on hot tar, and so it, calloused their feet, or they were, out in the wilderness, and so they have these tough skins. But I mean, I think we'd be capable of that too. Maybe it's just because they started believing that their feet were meant to basically take them to levels and all over the place, like
where
on their
possible.
Journeys where that is even possible. So,
I mean, it's weird because like those stories about, pastors who will handle snakes. Have you heard this stuff?
Yeah.
And it's like one guy just died a while back. Did you see about that?
Yeah, it was hard to have a little compassion. But
yeah, I'm looking at the guy going, you freak. Like,
that's just stupid.
You shouldn't have done that. It's like, but at the same time, I also believe that it's possible that if you set the right intention and live in a certain way and get the people around you, that you can completely dissolve a tumor.
Well, that's been proved. I mean, according to, I mean, again, if those videos that we've watched are real, which, I mean, they seem to be in the medical, was that in China or somewhere?
It was somewhere in China, yeah.
A bunch of doctors were hanging around over a patient with a large tumor.
It was a woman, I think.
A woman. And they started believing and chanting together a certain mantra or certain affirmation of healing. And that
on the ultrasound,
it shows it like shrinking within 5 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Completely gone?
Completely gone. It was as if every time they all chanted together, there was about 6 or 7 people in the hospital room, and they were all doing this at the same time. And, the tumor seemed to have disappeared, at least on the screen. I don't know. I mean, that could be a fake video, but I don't know. There's something about I just don't know. I mean, if I had a tumor like that, I would definitely do that. But at the same time, is there a difference between could that person who was believing, I don't even know if the person who was laying down in that video actually believed, I mean, they could have been in a coma.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if their intention, if they were awake or whatever. But let's say the people that were performing that quote unquote miracle on this lady, would those people be able to firewalk? And is there a difference between whether or not they could believe they could firewalk versus they could believe they could do that?
Good question.
These
are heavy questions.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because I believe that we can change our reality, but I don't know if I believe I'd walk on fire.
That would be a really hard one.
Call me crazy.
That would be.
But maybe, I mean, I guess I just have to get into some altered state that was like.
I think these people do, though. I think they do. I don't think they're thinking about.
They're not throwing back another whiskey or beer or something.
Maybe that helps them. I don't know, but
slamming beer bottles into each other,
right? But I mean, those guys that break the bricks with their hands or those planks of wood. I mean, there's something going on. I mean, there's too many things, too many examples of things that are possible that we're seeing right before our eyes. I don't know.
Yeah, and I wonder too, Ernest says in the chat room, I think there's proof against believing in a positive outcome. Most people do believe that all will turn out well, and yet things turn out badly. And I guess that's true too, depending on how you define well and bad, for someone. Is it possible that thing that turned out bad for that person is just their
Perception of bad?
Perception and their predetermined thing saying, oh, if this happens, then I'm going to call it bad, and I don't like that. But it may just be a response, like an action-reaction type of thing, too. So someone else could have looked at that event that turned out bad for that person as a good thing.
That's so true.
So it's...
Gosh, that's so hard to decipher.
Yeah, right.
Like, we're so easily able to, or so, what is the word? Like keen to jump on labeling things good and bad.
Yeah.
I do it. I mean, I totally do it. Like, if someone dies of cancer, that's a really bad thing.
Is it though? Yeah.
I know. Was it? I don't know.
Someone speaking of dying, I was thinking the other day. I wonder if it's possible that we die because we're programmed to die.
Yeah, this was a weird thought you had the other day. What got you thinking about this?
I don't know. I think about weird stuff. I mean, so do you.
Yeah, that's true.
You come home driving, like, hey, I got this hit or I got this idea, which I love. By the way, what was your hit this morning?
Oh, because I've been taking these what I call goat walks, like Mike Adams walks his goats in the morning, and on the beach. And at the end, I always kind of put it out, an open question to God, like what would God have for me today?
Yeah,
and God always answers me. And today it was, I wrote it down. I have this little book where I write it down in the car so I don't forget every morning.
Yeah.
Oh, my provisions outweigh your fear.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty cool, right?
I like that.
Yeah.
Think about that one for a while.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, I'm wondering if we die because we're programmed to die. In that sense, we're conditioned our entire lives to think about living and dying in life on a linear plane. Think about it. Think about if you had no concept of dying. Think about if you were on an island and you were just alive, and somehow it was
no one around you had died and you didn't know what death was.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had no idea what death was, but then you had nothing around you. You had no insects or no pets or no anything around you that showed this whole idea of dying, belief in dying. So if you had no belief that you would die, I mean, you could say that all people that die believed in something called death. That would most likely be true, unless it's a baby or something like that. But is it possible that we're programmed to die by the very thoughts that we have as a kid, and you're told that you're only going to live till you're 75 or 80? What would that look like if you didn't believe, if you had no idea you would die? I guess you could think like, oh, a dog doesn't know about death either, and they die. So maybe that's the answer, but...
Yeah, but they don't. The difference between that is dogs don't spend their whole life knowing it's going to happen.
That's true.
They don't spend their whole life preparing for the future of dying. They don't know. I don't think. I mean,
no. I
think they know right when it comes time when they're sick and they kind of wander off to die in the woods or go into their backyard and want to be alone to die.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think that. For the most part, I don't think animals really do that. Like, we're the only species that just thinks about death. It's like we're death obsessed, and it colors how we live our whole lives.
I mean, it's hard to even extract your mind out of what that would be like. You'd almost have to sit and think about what would it be like if you thought that you would never die. It's a weird thought. If you really get down and you really think about what that means, it's a strange
idea. So if you and I were on an island and we didn't have, like, everyone that might be on the island with us was all alive and no one had ever killed anything like a spider, so they didn't know about death and no one had ever seen anything else die, then that would be, I don't know. I mean, I guess that would affect, you'd get hurt. Like, if you're on an island, you're opening a coconut, you might miss and, like, slash your hand up. So you're aware of pain.
Right.
And I don't know if that makes you aware of your mortality, though. Like, you would know, ow, that hurt and I'm bleeding, but then the bleeding would stop. And if you didn't die or anyone around you didn't die climbing the coconut tree or trying to open it,
would you? I wonder if you would live,
even know?
Would you know, and would you live longer because you
didn't have the fear of the impending end?
Yeah, because it's a lot of times, like, listening to this, you might be thinking all kinds of thoughts, but you might be thinking, okay, well, if I'm a woman, I'm 30 years old, I can't wait forever to get a man so that I can have kids and get married and stuff like that. And then you think, okay, well, I'm 30 years old. I've got about 10-year window or less where I can have kids and things. But if you had no fear of dying, or if you had no understanding that there was such a thing as death, you wouldn't retire at 65, or you wouldn't think about 21 as being an age where something happens, or 18 you become an adult. You wouldn't have these linear sort of flags that come up every so often.
Yeah, by 30 you better have a kid, or by 35 you're high risk, and 40 you're halfway.
Yeah.
65 you retire. I know, it's like, why are there these magical numbers placed on?
I think those get so infused into our world at such a young age that it's almost impossible to have a concept of not dying, of having a concept of not. I think Peter Ragnar kind of does this kind of stuff too.
What do you mean?
Well, he's a real anti-aging kind of guy, and I think he talks about this.
I love that. That's the only good thing to be anti-aging.
I know,
That's
right?
the best.
Well, I think he calls it pro-youthing now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that sounds negative, but it's a cool.
Yeah,
nobody wants to age.
Changed the name of it to pro-youthing.
That's great.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Does he give a lot of credit to qigong practice for that pro-youthing?
Oh yeah,
he does.
Yeah, that's one of his big things. Is the energy that gets built back into the system from qigong.
Did he start qigong at how old was he? Do you know? He wasn't like a kid, was he?
I don't know how old he was, but he's in terms of aging in the most amazing way. He's probably the guy that I think is aging in the most powerful way.
I do too.
You look at him and he's young and youthful and strong, and
he's ripped.
I think he's in his. I don't think he's ever said his age, so no one really knows. People talk about how old is Peter Ragnar, but I think he's in his 70s.
Is he?
Yeah, or late 70s.
Wow.
Pretty.
He
amazing.
looks amazing.
Yeah, Ernest in the chat room, something about Abraham Hicks. Ernest says, I did the Abraham Hicks thing some time ago, and all that happened was I was minus a few $100, and Esther and Jerry Hicks added to their bank account.
Yeah.
I think there's proof against believing in positive outcome. Most people... Oh, yeah, we read that. And he said it's so sad. Also, Jerry Hicks died of cancer, and he would have had to be the biggest believer in positive outcomes. Yeah, it's true. I mean, well, that's an assumption. I mean, how much did Jerry Hicks believe publicly versus privately of his ability to do things? I mean, is it possible that on a subconscious level, he really did have limiting beliefs? I could have limiting beliefs, and people wouldn't know.
That's true.
We don't talk about limiting beliefs.
Yeah. You talk about I guess you're just projecting what it is you want people to believe, and
yeah,
you would think that person believed that, but yeah, I mean, who knows what really goes on in people's core beliefs?
I wonder what, Ernest, I'm curious what you said. I did the Abraham Hicks thing. I wonder what that is. Because I
think it was a program where you could work with them and maybe get some answers, and because it sounds like, unfortunately, there was a little bit of not a good outcome for Ernest. And
is that like doesn't she channel?
Mm-hmm.
She brings in Esther Hicks.
Abraham
brings in Abraham, right?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I didn't know you could work with them. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, wild.
That's what I'm assuming. But
yeah, I wonder. That's so weird because you would think that he would have a positive outlook on life, and
yeah.
But then, what's really strange too is we talk about this all the time. A lot of the people, like on the Hay House thing, will have thoughts and ideas about diet and how they live life and limiting beliefs. You said something. Someone said on there recently that you were really surprised that they even said these words. What was it?
It was a couple of.
It was a woman, right?
Well, it was. Are you talking about the ones? Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And you thought it was so strange that they would even bring her on if she would say something.
Yeah,
like
there was a Hay House woman that was giving one of the what do you call it? Podcasts of the Last World Summit or interviews. And I forget which one she was, but she basically was like, talking about people living their purpose and, waking up every day and doing what makes them happy and finding blah, 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 and all this great stuff. And then she goes on to say something like, a lot of people don't know what their purpose is and they keep thinking they're going to find it. And then one day they wake up and they're 65 and it's all over. And I was like, what in the world? It's not over. Like, here she is, rah, rah, rah. And then at the end, it's like, yeah, you're 65 and you're basically dead. And I thought, I can't believe those two conflicting statements just came out of her mouth back to back. It was so weird.
Isn't that wild?
And I thought, wow, that just does not seem like that matches up with, her beliefs. But
you know what's weird is I find it to be very strange. Like what's his name? Mark Sisson said the other day about how he doesn't chew his food all that much. And maybe certain things work for certain people, but I find it very strange that certain people, like someone like that, by the time you're 65, you're done. And talk about a limiting belief.
Yeah.
And talk about a weird thing that she's on the Hay House World Summit, which is, trying to unravel and get rid of these limiting beliefs. But it's find it strange. Like certain people will be very into maybe the energetic work of life, like maybe someone like Abraham or Esther Hicks and all that. But it's weird that those people would also eat. I'm not saying she does, but certain, a person like her, you hear, they eat, fast food or something, or it's just strange.
It is really weird.
I'm not saying she does, but there's been people like her that have said they do that.
Yeah.
And it's just the weirdest thing. I mean, you would think that they would put all the pieces of life together a little bit.
You would.
I
mean, a silly example was just Mark Sisson the other day. We had him on, and I was thinking, that guy probably chews his food like religiously, like 70 times before he swallows it.
Yeah,
how important it is. And I asked him how much he chewed his food, and he's like, I don't really chew my food. I just down it. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like. It was shocking to me, though. I thought, wow, for somebody who's so turned on to eating and eating good and eating right, and paleo style works for him.
Yeah.
And he seems like he's thriving. It works great for his body and stuff. So I was just surprised that he said that. It made me laugh. I thought, wow, sometimes you're so surprised at the things that people will tell you.
Yeah, because on the Hay House stuff, we listen to it all the time, and the Reed Tracy, who's the vice president of Hay House or something?
Yeah.
He was saying in one of the interviews with Louise Hay at the very beginning, I think, of the 2013 summit, that they hired him, and he would eat McDonald's and eat candy and all this kind of stuff, and which I find very strange. He doesn't do that anymore because I think as you get older, you start realizing you can't get away with those transgressions.
They'll catch up with you.
It's so weird that there's people that don't, seem to, I find very few people put everything together, the energetic work, the emotional work, the physical exercise, the diet, the positive outcome or the success, mindful thinking. And it's not a lot of people seem to put everything together, do they?
No, they don't. And I think it's surprising, and I try not to be I try not to be disappointed in people, because there's a couple people recently that are really turned on to alternative healing, and you can heal, your body can heal itself, and you can do the right modalities to come up under it. And
who you mean? People that
I respect and stuff, and yet they're on Facebook taking the ALS ice bucket challenge.
I know, right?
And it's just surprising because you and I, that's a whole other episode. What was that episode we talk about why we will not be participating in the challenge?
Yeah, I think it was 304.
Yeah, it's something though where I was just surprised. These people are all about self-healing and healing in different modalities, and then it's like you see a video of them trying to raise awareness through these giant organizations that basically you don't know where all the money goes and if it's even doing any good. So it was just surprising though, Do
you think they do it because it's like
they might not believe in it, but they don't want to be looked on as not a team player?
Like something? How in today's world, if you are not tolerant of a homosexual or something like that, it's really looked down upon. Mm-hmm. Whereas most people many, many years ago, 20, 30 years ago, it was part of the common social norm to not bring in people that are homosexuals into your group, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I wonder if people like that, if they do that because it would be perceived publicly as a good thing for them. Do you think?
That was my first inclination. But then I thought, wow, talk about selling out, though. I mean,
yeah, right.
If you really stand for that kind of, if your convictions are so strong, nothing should be able to sway you. It doesn't matter if you lose 1 million Facebook followers because of it,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Part of me was like, wow, maybe they just haven't quite made the distinction between what really heals or what they really believe, and they're confused. Or, maybe just to pacify. But a lot of other people like me looking at them, I'm like, man, that just doesn't set well with me. You know?
That must be so hard to be a celebrity. Can you imagine? Because
you're going to get so judged. I mean, no matter what you do.
We referenced Pamela Anderson and some other guy that was really talking a lot of bad information on the Ice Bucket Challenge, and so I thought, wow, like, you know, does her publicist, Pamela Anderson's publicist, or this publicist for this other famous guy, you know, did they just go, oh gosh, what are they doing again? They're going to ruin their reputation, or
maybe
that's probably what happens.
Maybe.
But I respect people for at least talking, even if I don't agree with what they're saying. At least it's them.
Yeah.
You know.
Then that goes funny too, because you would hope that they're not doing it just to like Miley Cyrus themselves in a way, you know, like quotes. Because I feel like sometimes people do things just to get more attention, you know, like.
Yeah.
You know, let's cause some waves. It seems like, okay, 99% of the celebrities are doing this Ice Bucket Challenge. What could Pamela Anderson do to stand out, you know, and create a buzz? So let's just say she's against it. I wonder if we can get her, you know, to create some even negative buzz, you know, like, I don't know what's really going on with people. Who knows?
Yeah. It's so hard to know what's, oh man, it's just so hard to know.
It is, isn't it?
Crazy.
Yeah.
We're going to take a little break. We're going to run an ad here for the Qigong course. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of the Qigong course. I really just been getting a lot of great benefits from it. And I love my favorite part of the Qigong course is the 10-minute morning session. Do you like the evening one?
I do.
Yeah, the 10-minute morning one, it's really cool. It really makes you feel like you are ready to be charged up enough to go throughout the day and protect yourself. Like, it gives you this energy where you can go throughout the day, but then it also it makes you feel like you're protecting yourself from negative energy too.
Yes.
Very weird, very strange. Anyway, we're going to run the ad for that. We'll be right back right after this break. I wanted to tell you about this really powerful and unique product called the Q Laser. Did you know there's over 2,500 peer-reviewed clinical research studies showing the benefits of low-level laser therapy on the body? We had Dr. Larry Lytle on episode 165 talking all about it. Dr. Lytle, what is the Q Laser?
The Q Laser is a light-delivering device, handheld, rechargeable, that is for lay people and professionals, that works at the cell level of the body to restore energy. Since the body is all composed of cells and the cells are composed of atoms, it's good for any and everything in the body. It is especially beneficial for injuries. It will reduce swelling and inflammation before your eyes. Literally, you can have a sprained ankle and fly the laser, and within 30 minutes you can see that the swelling in the ankle has been reduced. Since all disease is inflammatory, you can assume that same process is working if you have some type of intestinal problem. We have pictures of using a heat instrument to diagnose the intestinal inflammation. We can show that intestinal inflammation is pretty much gone within 3 minutes using the Q1000 laser. It's the number one tool in your medicine cabinet. I have a saying, never leave home without your laser. I have had 3 serious burns, and each time I had my laser with me, I applied the laser immediately after I had the burn. I never even blistered.
Kate and I don't want to be without ours. We've worked out a special deal with Dr. Lytle for all of our listeners. If you'd like to learn more about how the Q Laser can dramatically improve your health, go to extremehealthradio.com/laser. If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, and even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com. And now just take 1 nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed of 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. And if you can increase brain health, the rest of the body is a no-brainer. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity, is safe for you and your family, and it helps protect against radiation exposure. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at extremehealthradio.com/bioage or call 877-288-9116. Get 10% off your order using coupon code JUSTIN at extremehealthradio.com/bioage. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
All free shows, all the time, on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
So if you guys are interested in the BioAge or the Carnivora, you might want to take a look at our sponsors page. We have some great sponsors we're working with. The Live On Labs, which is the lipospheric vitamin C, the S&C products, which are really just, I'm telling you, they're just amazing stuff. And the BioAge, we really like that. We did a whole show with Roland Thomas. We did a whole show with... what is his name? Dr. Ron Kusan.
Oh, right.
A while back, and that was really interesting. I think that you guys, if you guys are looking for really good supplements, check those out. Go onto our sponsors page. There's links to those on the right side of our site. You can listen to some thoughts that I had about all of our sponsors that we reached out to, and make sure to check that out. I think you guys would really like the stuff. And also, if you guys want to check out anything else that we have in our store, like the laser we ran the ad for and the Qigong, all that stuff's in the store. So make sure to check that out if you guys like. And this is episode, was it 306?
You got it.
I want to say 307, but 306.
You're off.
I'm off today.
You're always off in the numbers. The numbers and the date.
The numbers and the date.
Not your strong point. You have many other good points.
Many other good points?
Those
right.
are not them.
I'll take it. So we had a question from Rebecca in our Facebook group on Extreme Health Radio. We posted a picture of Maggie, and we put your text here, Kate. Happy National Dog Day, Maggie Brown Longbottom. You're a hot mess, but we love you dearly.
And the picture of Maggie with her little beady eyes and her tongue sticking out.
Her little pink tongue. So expectant. But Rebecca says, hey, do you give Maggie vaccinations? Do you put flea and tick meds on her? What kind of vet do you take her to? I just got a dog and I need some suggestions. Please, do you have a show about this? Thanks so much.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
So
yeah, we didn't do any vaccinations, did we?
Let's see, before we got her, she had one when she was born with the people who bred her. I'm not sure what that one was, but it was like a very, very just mild little baby one.
Okay.
And then when we got her, our goal was to not obviously further vaccinate. So the city came a-calling.
They came offering us?
They came offering
Giving us some offers?
Yes, some options to get a license for her and her registered through the city and all this stuff. And they required a rabies vaccine. And so at the time, I felt, unfortunately, it was over 3 years ago that we got her, and I was really afraid of the system and thought we were going to get in trouble and that you had to have this, to register your dog. And I think that's true, but I probably now just wouldn't have registered her and taken a personal responsibility in case my dog attacked someone or got out or whatever. But so we found a holistic, what do you call it, a natural...
Holistic vet?
Holistic vet?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a list online. If you just, in your area, Google holistic veterinarians, you might have to drive a little bit. We had to drive about a half hour, which still wasn't bad, but when you have a dog that throws up in the car, that could be a bad issue.
That's a bad issue.
So we took her up there, and he explained to us that basically he gave her the smallest amount to make the city happy. It was a homeopathic.
Yeah.
But still, I didn't like the fact that we felt better about it, even though we were cringing the whole time.
Right.
But, he told us basically, this is the vial they usually give, and then this tiny little, drop is what I'm giving her. But even after he injected it, he did say, so if you see any rare side effects like vomiting, fever, or shaking or seizures, give us a call within, right away, and we'll check her out. And I just didn't like that because I thought there's still something that could go wrong and, mess with her neurological system. It really bothered me. So from that point on, we decided we're just not going to vaccinate her. And I politely declined the offers that I was sent in the mail after about renewing her license. And we have chosen not to do that. And, hopefully the ramifications are just us being a responsible dog owner and not letting her attack someone or get out. And if it does, then it's going to fall on us and we'll have to deal with it. But
yeah, and that's taking ultimate responsibility. You know?
So that's what we did. As far as fleas and ticks, we used something amazing product called Cedar Side.
It seems to work pretty well, doesn't it?
Pretty good. It's a natural cedar oil, and you can spray it on the dog. And basically, the best part about it is the fleas and ticks will inhale the smell of the cedar. That will just start spreading throughout their whole body and just kill them. So you can put it right onto a tick, right onto a flea.
Mm-hmm.
And the ticks, actually, Maggie's picked up a couple really strange ones this year, I guess, this summer.
This summer, yeah.
And they were just starting to latch on, and so we sprayed it, and then they unhooked from her, and then you're able to pull them off with the tweezers, so you weren't, they didn't have their little
hooks
in her. And then the fleas, it keeps them from overpopulating, so... That's amazing.
I think a big thing is with your dogs is to make sure that you feed them the best diet you possibly can, because if they're eating, food and grains and carbohydrates and things they're not supposed to be doing, as well as food that doesn't have any water in it, because that's a really important thing, is the water that's in dog food is structured water typically.
Yeah.
If it's in the animal meat, and that moisture in that water is really viscous and gets into their cells and cleanses them and hydrates them on a deeper level. Aside from just the water they drink, it's a much different type of water. And so if you're feeding them correctly that has bones in it, giving them bones and making sure their diet not only gets the good food, but they don't eat any of the bad food either.
Yeah.
Really being a stickler about their diet, you're going to have a lot less necessary times where you have to go to the vet because of health issues. And it's just the same with us, like you pay now or you pay later kind of thing. And we've been putting Maggie on the barf diet, and we just, I don't know, she really thrives off that diet. And it seems to be working really, really well for her. Did we do 2 shows or 1 show with Robert Mueller? 1 or 2? 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The founder of Barf.
The founder of that company, and you can listen to those shows. I think they're in our store as well. I'm not sure if they're not. I'll try to put both those interviews in our store page. But the diet is the foundation, and then the exercise too. We give her 3 walks a day.
That dog is so spoiled.
Yeah, and she gets alkaline water that we drink, and
we keep her really thin. We keep her skinny and buff.
Barely any snacks, and so her weight is good. She's really fit. And she drinks really good water, and her diet's really good. And then so if that's your foundation, then you're going to get less fleas, less ticks anyway.
Yeah.
Even though you could live in an area like Texas or something like that where it's really hot, Louisiana, you're going to get fleas and ticks. I don't think there's any way around it. But you could give your dog things like garlic.
Mm-hmm.
There's supplements that you can. I think the Barfold, on their website they have some other supplements too for that. But, yeah. So, and what kind of vet do we take her to? A holistic vet, like we said. I think that's it, right?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian wrote in there. I would not do any of those treatments on a dog. Some great, authentic, holistic vets to consult with, who are very well informed about the issues you bring up and have much better natural treatments, are, in my humble opinion, Patricia Jordan. We should have her on the show. We'll put links to these people. Patricia Jordan, Dr. Marcy Fallek.
How do you spell that?
Fallek. At least that's how Brian spelled it in our Facebook community. And Dr. Bob Goldstein. And we'll put links to... Actually, what we'll do is we'll embed this picture of Maggie into this particular post, extremehealthradio.com/306. And so you guys can comment and keep the discussion going if you want on our page through Facebook. So we'll do that.
Cool.
Yeah, really interesting.
Oh, little Maggie. You know what was crazy? We had a crazy story about her this week. So she threw her back out.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and this is the 3rd time, poor little wiener dog. They are known for this, the back problems.
Aren't they known for it?
And she's so healthy and so rambunctious that I think sometimes she tweaks her back because she'll, be running around too much or trying to catch a fly. One time, the last time she hurt her back, she was trying to catch a fly for days, and I think she flew off the couch, off the arm, and fell on her back or something because she was in bad shape. Yeah. We were gone when it happened, but the fly was gone, so...
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
The fly was in her stomach, and her back was thrown out.
She was laid out. But yeah, poor little Maggie. So in the past, both times we've taken her to the ER. It always seems to be around nighttime. They tell us, they do an exam, and definitely she's pretty tweaked, but it's no, she hasn't broken anything or even slipped the disc. And so they tell us to put her on bed rest for 3 weeks, usually 3 weeks, and to, basically not let her run around, jump, or even do any walking, along with pain meds, which we never gave her.
How many times have we been offered medication or vaccinations or shots or even surgery?
Right.
We've probably turned down, how many things do we think we've turned down?
We've turned down at least 4 rounds of antibiotics and probably 3 to 4 rounds of meds.
3 to 4 rounds of meds.
And we turned down the surgery for her spaying.
Hysterectomy thing. Isn't that
so we've
crazy?
saved Maggie from a lot of problems.
They offer and they offer and they offer and they try to manipulate you and scare you and use fear. And look at all the things we've turned down. And not only is she healthier because of it, but she's also, built a stronger immune system and gotten over
everything just fine.
Everything just fine.
Because they haven't been life-threatening illnesses or anything. Like the one time that we did give her an antibiotic, which I don't know if I would have done now, but she went into surgery because she got she was flying through a field all happy and her ears were flopping back, and a cattail bush stabbed her right and went into her eardrum, and like one of those gnarly, pointy cattail weed things. And so, it was the end of the world. She was screaming and, it was horrible. Pierced her eardrum. They had to go in there and give her surgery to take it out. And he said, anytime there's a surgery, you need to follow up with an antibiotic. And so I remember you didn't want to do it. And I was
I didn't
torn.
want to do the antibiotic.
This was a little bit before I knew just as much as, of how damaging they can be. But
by the way,
that's the time that we willingly gave them to her.
If you're interested, what was his name? Dr. Raymond Moody. Who was the guy that we spoke with? He said basically, if a child has had 1 round of antibiotics, their gut biome will never be the same.
Ooh.
Who was that? Remember he was in Florida? What was his name? Not Dr. Raymond Moody, but...
I'm blanking. I remember talking to him too.
Yeah, and he said that 1 round of antibiotics to a child, the relationship of the good to bad bacteria in their gut will never be the same.
Oh my goodness.
Which is just an amazing thing. He said, I even said to him, I said, for people like us who know what to do and who know, natural health things, are there things that we could do that are on the cutting edge of restoring that? And he said, yeah, no, it's just impossible. Those things are lost and the relationship is gone forever. So that was one of the reasons why I knew, how important it was to keep Maggie off the antibiotics. But back then you were a little bit more leaning towards doing it.
Well, the problem is too, that was at a regular vet. It was an emergency situation. It wasn't holistic. And these are all, by the way, a regular conventional vet, because we have one in town here just for the normal checkups and things, which we're not going to take a lot of their advice, but it's better than driving a half hour to a holistic vet when it's not terribly important.
Yeah, there's nothing pressing going on.
Right. But I don't know. It's like you wonder the also cleanliness of the tools. It's like that was my concern when you're getting a surgery. You'd hope that it's cutting into the body is not a good thing, and having blood and bacteria involved and things. Like I don't know what they're using back there. Like I hope that they're clean, but I think that's more where my concern lied with the antibiotic issue. But anyway. So this whole thing was pretty crazy. So she's been on bed rest twice for 3 weeks each with her back.
Bed rest.
And so this time we knew what was wrong with her back. We thought we're not able, we don't want to really have to pay that amount to go, $100 to an emergency room to have them say to put her on bed rest.
Right.
So we weren't going to walk her for a few days. Well, we remembered about the laser, and the laser has a veterinary setting, and
it's for that.
Yeah.
That's where they did the original studies.
Right.
I think. Yeah. It's amazing. Crazy.
The Q laser.
Yeah.
So we started lasering Maggie the very minute it happened, and I did about 3 rounds with her, and you did a couple more rounds, and the next day we both did a couple rounds, and within 2 days, she wasn't skulking around, because the first day her tail was between her legs, she was yelping, like if you got near her lower back, she would growl at you.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty weird. So she had all the same symptoms, but this time within 2 days flat, she's out running and walking and jumping and playing ball. It just was so bizarre how fast that thing worked on her, I think.
Yeah, it was really strange because we did it the first night, right? We realized, we have a laser. My goodness, we forgot we had it.
Mm-hmm.
So we used it the first night, and then the next day she was significantly better. And then you went to work and you used it once, and I used it twice during that same day. So that day she got 3 on the second day. And then it was the next day that she was wanting to play with her ball. And it was later that second day and that night.
That was unheard of for Maggie.
Is that the laser or her? I mean, I can tell you that she never healed this fast before. But then again, we don't know if she only slightly pulled her back this time. We don't know these things.
I don't know. There's no way to know.
But I tell you, it feels really good to have the laser, just to have it around.
Makes me feel a heck of a lot better.
Doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like feeling like you have access to a conventional doctor if you need one or something.
Yeah. In the middle of the night, if like I used it plenty of times on things like ovarian cysts and start of pancreatic problems, and I mean, it really has helped me big time. Yeah, I've had it
work tremendously well for me in certain situations, like right when it's happening, like indigestion. I've had it get rid of indigestion super quick, as well as I use it on my back, and my back has never felt better. That's the weird thing about life is you never know. You can't figure out what things are doing the healing. But
I know.
I don't know. I think it's the laser. But I don't know. I have no way of proving that. But
I know. This instance was very strange, though. I was so happy, though. I was so happy because having a wiener dog who's out of control down for 3 weeks, I mean, we had to put her in her house. You have to give her a bone. You have to do all these crazy things to try to keep her from even moving. It's horrible.
Can't let her jump on the couch and bark.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's not so great.
Yep.
Not so great.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just got an email from Victoria Batenko.
Oh, no. Did you?
Yes, and she says, I'm so sorry I sent the confirmation to the wrong email address.
Oh, no.
So, I will get back with her and we'll reschedule this interview. That'll be cool, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, her website, rawfamily.com.
Rawfamily.com.
Yeah, she's got a lot of stuff going on. I read her book, Raw Family, when we were in Australia.
I remember that.
You remember
You're telling me all about the family, yeah.
Yeah, what an incredible story they had of healing their whole family with raw food.
Yeah, their whole family had, what was their problem again?
Oh, gosh, they had, each one of them had really bad health problems, like scary things where like diabetic blood levels were so high that there's possible death that could happen.
Did they all have the same problem or they're all different? I remember reading quite a bit of it, but I don't remember. It's been so long. I probably need to brush up on that. One
of the children, Serge, or I forget what their children's name, Serge. But he was almost, I think, coming up with diabetes. I think he had diabetes when he was just a child. I mean, their whole family was just messed up really bad. And so what happened was they did this whole experimentation, lost all this weight, improved their health, had more energy, changed their blood levels, got rid of diseases, and as a family. And then they ended up going to, I told you about this crazy thing. I think they hiked from Southern California to Northern New York across the country.
That's right.
Remember that?
That's right.
For, I think, like 4 months or 5 months. Maybe even longer.
I can't believe, I was going to say, I can't believe you could do that fast, but.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So that was the Raw Family, and then I read their book, The Green Smoothie. What is their book?
Oh, man, she has the greatest book she wrote called The Green Smoothie Book. It's a children's book illustrated about smoothies. Oh, I can't wait to read it when we have kids.
Oh, Green for Life. Really?
Yeah.
You've read that one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have it. It's adorable. The art is beautiful, and the story is great. It was kind of like how excited I got, like, knowing there's things that the way we do life to like, it's like looking through the Pottery Barn catalog I've told you before.
Yeah.
And everything's always about wine and food and entertaining in all this way that I don't really eat or drink anymore.
Uh-huh.
And so I was so excited flipping through the catalog that they had a giant juicer and a bowl of fruit and vegetables next to it in one of the catalog pages. Going, that's something I would be, that's the way I do. Pottery Barn.
Wow.
So it was like the same thing where I saw her book and I thought, oh, great. There's like, our kids aren't going to feel so alone, like reading books about like macaroni and cheese. We're going to be, hopefully reading them green smoothie books. And it's such a beautiful book. I can't say enough. I can't wait to talk to her about it when we get her on the show.
Is it The Green Smoothie Magic?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So cute.
I didn't know we had that one.
It's so well done. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's actually on my bedside table.
You read it.
I love it.
She has
story.
12 Steps to Raw Foods, too, that I read. Yeah, her best books, I think, are the Raw Family. I thought that was really interesting. Green for Life and 12 Steps to Raw Foods. I read those 3. Haven't read the other ones. But she's also got another one, I Love Greens, another children's book. She's got quite a few children's books, which is pretty cool.
I'm so happy.
Wow.
Because that's the thing. If you can teach them young, like what's good for them and let them make up their own decisions when they get older. But
this one looks good, the Green Smoothie Prescription. Wonder what that's all about.
Let me see it.
I'm going to click into it.
Oh, yeah, it looks really good.
Oh, this book is scheduled for release. Oh, it's not even out yet. October 7th, 2014. Interesting. This handy go-to reference features 150 recipes and an A to Z list of the best ingredients containing the most effective nutrients in battling everything from minor colds and aches and pains to chronic conditions and debilitating diseases.
Oh, awesome.
That's really cool.
She has quite a running book list, doesn't she?
Yeah, we'll get her on the show. We'll work on rescheduling her because she was instrumental in my growth.
Yeah. We'll definitely book her.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap up, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks everyone for being on the show. Sorry about the mix-up with the schedule. This is episode 306, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Hey everybody, this is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
Oh, so good.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog is discussed in the context of numerous conditions, it can be dangerous to take action based on any information in this blog or to start any health program without first consulting a health professional. The content found here is for informational purposes only.